meteorologist Mark Molnar is your host for Weather Northeastern. Let's get into some viewer sent-in videos and photos. Derek Rentschler from Lebanon County, Pennsylvania. The snowstorm over the past weekend amounted to not as much as you were originally getting to predict here for 6 to 8 inches. Only saw about 3.5 inches here, nevertheless still saw advisory criteria snowfall here across the Lebanon County area. Unfortunately, it's been hard pressed to get upwards of 6 to 8 inches across the Lebanon County area, as most of the storms have either gone north or south of you, but this time lapse of this snowfall over the past weekend does this snowfall justice here, as Derek captured this on his time-lapse camera. So very nice capture here, Derek. Hopefully we can get at least one really good snowstorm for you before the winter is out. We still have the rest of February and most of March here to go through, so very nice. Lucas from Linden, Texas, a touch of spring sending our way here with a nice cardinal springtime weather out and about. Lucas captured the springtime birds. The cardinal is on the run here across Linden, and unfortunately will be in hiding the next, say, week or two, because winter is making a comeback across the Linden, Texas area. As you can see, some very beautiful blooming flowers here, early springtime type flowers. The early bloomers are out. Unfortunately, the cap will be put on this too, and the brakes will be put on as well, as winter time makes a comeback across the Linden area. And his last video here showing some very beautiful springtime activity in the birds sector of Linden as well. These don't look like normal cold weather birds that are usually out and about during the cold weather. These are looking very spring-like, and unfortunately I will show you what things are looking like across the Linden area. Let's take a look at his photos. Take a look at these beautiful skies, some altocumulus and alto cirrus and alto stratus here above the mid to upper layers of the atmosphere. Some nice lighting, to say the least. They're looking very beautiful and spring-like. But as these photos progress, we get one more photo of some evidence of a lizard. So very spring-like. You saw a lot of 50s and near 60-degree temperatures here the last couple weeks in Linden. But these last couple photos, you can see evidence of heavy ice accretion across the Linden area. So it's quite unfortunate. Saw some sleet and freezing rain the last couple days, and more is on the way, although it could be colder, more in the form of snow. Let's take a look at the last photo. I snapshotted this here on Tuesday morning. Record low here in the Susquehanna River Basin of southern tier of New York, just southwest of the Binghamton area near West Corners, getting down to as much as almost minus 19, negative 18.6, to some areas getting as low as minus 20 below zero here across the Susquehanna River Basin, even into northeast Pennsylvania as well. Very cold winter time, to say the least. Watch out for frozen pipes as well. So let's get right into the forecast maps. Precipitation, look at this. Very good news for the west as we get some moderate rains, not enough to really put major dent in the drought, but any little bit will help as we start to get a trough developing. And here across the east, from Dallas, Linden, all the way towards Little Rock, Shreveport, Birmingham, Atlanta, Charleston, South Carolina, Raleigh, and up the coast, especially Maine, we will start to see wintry precipitation on the rise here, on the form of course liquid. Will be about a ½ an inch to up to an inch of liquid equivalent. Let's get right into those ice and snow totals here across the south, but before we do, take a look at this big trough developing. This is next week, for the new work week next week. Out west, we start to get that trough really digging in, not just the desert southwest, but also including Southern California as well, as all these systems will be directed right into the southwestern portion of the United States. And this is some good news with some beneficial rains. Not a tremendous amount of rain, but we will still see some moderate rainfall amounts. And then of course back east here, we start to get some ridging going on. Not enough to bring us to record warmth, but it will bring us back to normal, which many areas getting back into the 20s and 30s for highs. It will also bring a more stormier weather pattern to portions of the Appalachians, Mid-Atlantic, and eventually the Northeast into New England. So that's something we got to keep an eye on over the next several days to portions of 2 weeks. Let's get right into those snow and ice amounts across the southeast. As I said, Linden over to Dallas, looking at primarily snow out of this one. Linden could see upwards of 3 to 6 inches. Just on the south side of Little Rock over towards Shreveport, probably snow and then changing over to sleet and freezing rain. We're looking where that freezing rain line sets up, anywhere from up to a 1/4 inch of freezing rain likely. That's a very popular amount, with some areas upwards of a 1/2 inch of freezing rain. So watch out for that for power outages, and travel will be very difficult. Heading towards Birmingham, sleet and freezing rain and snow likely, and especially north, upwards of 3 to 6 inches up into portions of southern Tennessee, the southern Appalachians, a solid 3 to 6 here. North of Atlanta, a solid 3 to 6. Then you get into the north side of Atlanta. Just north of Atlanta, we start to get into the 1/10 to a 1/4 inch of freezing rain. Charleston, South Carolina, about a 1/10 to a 1/4 inch of freezing rain likely. Those freezing rain advisories continuing. And then portions of Raleigh, Durham, up into Norfolk. This is where we could see Raleigh getting upwards of 5 to as much as 7 inches. And Norfolk, you could see a solid 7 to as much as 8 inches of snow out of this winter storm. And over towards western and southern portions of Virginia as well, upwards of the 3 to 6 inches of snow over towards portions of the Appalachians. So this is a very interesting southern storm here. They call these the southern sliders, and this storm will be sliding across the south here with much wintry precipitation. Let's get right into snowfall amounts for the Northeast, a little bit with a clipper here across the lakes, but the big story will be mainly Wednesday here into portions of Maine, especially from Augusta on northeastward. Looking at 4 to 6 inches solid amounts. Portland, you'll get out about maybe 2 to as much as 4 inches, but it'll be closer to the New Brunswick border. Eastern Maine, upwards of maybe 6 to 8 inches likely in New Brunswick, seeing the solid 6 to 8 likely out of this system. This will be with a developing low pressure system that rides up along the coast here into portions of extreme eastern New England. Let's get right into surface maps. Speaking of that clipper, this clipper will be spreading quickly across upstate New York, Pennsylvania, southern Ontario for your Wednesday. This will be the leading edge of some very cold air, but it won't be as cold as in recent days. It'll be more like teens for highs and lows, slightly below zero, not tremendously below zero. But it'll start to transfer some of its energy to this low pressure here just south of Maine. And this was where this storm will be able to get some of its moisture from and spread into eastern New England, where we'll see snowfall totals on the order of 6 to 8 inches. So that's what we're looking at for your Wednesday. The rest of the days here, Thursday, look at this. High pressure building in to portions of the Ohio Valley, spreading eastward. We start to clear things out. We get those clear cold nights and those clear days where the sun shines. We'll start to clear a little bit here. But temperatures will be on the cold side, lower teens, a popular number heading on into Friday. Look at this, high pressure starts to really push in with abundant sunshine and very cold temperatures overhead here. Popular numbers into the lower to middle teens, even along the coast, barely reaching up into the lower 20s here on into your Saturday. This will probably be the nicest day in a while. We'll start to bump some temperatures up near 20. High pressure centered right overhead in north central Pennsylvania. And look at this, abundant sunshine pretty much everywhere, clear as a bell, very hard to find a cloud in the sky. But enjoy this, because Sunday into Monday, things get a little bit stormier and we look to the potential of another winter storm. I'll have more details on that in a later weather segment. I'm going to have a 5-day outlook for my hometown viewers in the Susquehanna region of upstate New York into northeast Pennsylvania, from Binghamton to Scranton. Don't forget to like me on Facebook at MeteoMark, subscribe to me on YouTube at MeteoMark.com. It's Twitter at WX Northeastern, and MeteoMark, Google+. Here's that 5-day outlook from Binghamton, Scranton, and Elmira. Wednesday, a little bit of a warm day, relatively warm, 25. We'll have some flurries move through, but look at this. Thursday morning, waking up to about 5 to 10 below, only making it up to about 11 for a high. Very windy, but clearing late in the day. And then Friday, look at this, nice abundant sunshine, a cold start, below zero again, but making it up towards the mid to upper teens heading on into Saturday. One of your nicest days, kind of chilly, but still very nice and very cloudless. Lots of abundant sunshine, but as I said, it's Sunday, later in the day, after 4 p.m., snow starts to develop, and the potential exists for up to 2 to 4 inches of snow Sunday evening into Sunday night. So I'll have more details on that potential storm in the next segment. That's going to do it for this edition of Weather Northeastern.